Hey guys, Dustin, PPC Pros, doing this video. We're going to talk a little bit about how to get more out of your existing traffic, basically how to get more bookings by increasing conversion rate, and also a little bit of cross-selling. So what I'm going to do is just share 5 ideas I believe are relatively easy to implement. We'll kind of talk about them a little bit as far as what they are and some of the ideas around them. Right now, with the way the economy is going in 2023 and numbers kind of being down for most of the activities and tours and water sports sector for the moment, these are pretty good strategies to think about while you're not having to spend more money necessarily to do a lot of this stuff. It's just a little bit better processes and some automations. So we're going to talk about actively cross-selling customers. This could be add-ons, cross-sells, upsells, however you want to look at it. Remarketing campaigns, email campaigns, having SMS chat on your website or Messenger, website UX optimization. So again, these are either really low cost or no cost to get going ideas, depending on how you implement them. There's really no wrong way to do it. We just want to give you some ideas to take home with you. So first one is automated cross-sells. This will take, you have to have some kind of an automated process if you want to do this automatically, or people. So people cost money, automated processes do too, but usually a little bit better ROI on the cost depending on how you do them. So the goal right here would be to create a process where you offer either secondary like booking options or activities, or maybe they're add-ons to your existing customer, your book of business. And you want to do this, increase your average order value, or just get them to book twice. So either way, it's still the average order value or lifetime value of that customer. And you've already got them, you've got their attention, you've got them booked. So why not take another swing at that and just try to get them to book again? Or like, let's say they come in for a food tour, or let's say a jet ski rental on a Saturday, maybe offer them something for the Sunday, or maybe you want to offer them an upgrade to that experience. Maybe it's a longer tour, maybe it's, some type of an add-on, or maybe it's damage protection if you're doing water sports, motorized water sports, or maybe it's some kind of other fun activity, photos, whatever it is that you can do to try to get them to purchase more. And sometimes it's a matter of letting them know it's available. You would think that a lot of times people think just because it's in their Fair Harbor or their peak or whatever booking flow that people will remember it. A lot of people don't remember what was in their booking flow. They were trying to decide if they want to book at all or book with you at all. So sometimes you just miss these options, or they thought, I'll add it on later and they forget. So just having a process where you can automatically text them or email them or something, call them, whatever you want to do to remind them of this stuff would be great. It just helps you increase your, I think it also helps the customer experience a little bit because they see that you're thinking about them and it gives them options. And the worst thing is they say no, and big deal. It's not like you're gonna make anybody upset by offering or mentioning that. The big idea here is leverage automation. So if you've got people who are coming through your booking flow, you can use a system like Conversion Assist, our system, or any other one that you can put together where, like, once a booking comes in, let's say you identify what kind of booking it was, let's offer this thing. Or maybe it doesn't matter what kind of booking it was, we always want to offer this thing. So you can do that. You can also, just think about some other complementary ways to maybe cross-promote other operators if you don't have anything else to promote on your side for a commission. Maybe you can just make some affiliate revenue that way and also build a good partnership where they're doing the same for you. So that could be another angle on this particular item. The next thing we'll talk about is remarketing campaigns. So these are basically really good for your existing traffic. So depending on how you got people to your website, you spent money to get them there, whether that's through time creating content, whether that's through social media, paid ads, whatever it is, OTAs, they drove traffic to your listing and they came to your website, whatever it is, you've already got them to come to your website. So remarketing campaigns are pretty low cost, a lot of times, campaign type, with a pretty good ROI because you're getting the right person, and they're not, usually they're not tens of thousands of people at any given time that have been to your website. Usually for most operators, it's a lot less than that. So you can have a pretty small daily budget and get in front of a lot of them. Social media is great for this. You don't always have to, but using video or really high quality images is important. The big thing is you want to create excitement or FOMO, fear of missing out. So when people see it, they're like, man, I want to do that, or oh man, we forgot about that, we should go book this, right? So you want to get people to take that next step. The other thing is, if you know people are usually only in town for a week or so, there's some ways you can set up your audiences to where you're only going to show your ads to people for a very small period of time. You don't want to show it to them for 6 months if they're traveling in town. So maybe you show it to them for, a 30-day period or something like that, for two reasons. One, they may only be in town for a week or two. They might have started their search earlier. And number two is, if you do too small of a window, you won't have enough people a lot of times in that audience to get ads to actually show. So 30 days is probably a pretty good date range, unless you've got a lot of traffic, then you could be a little bit more picky. But 30 days makes sense. And that's just one way to try to get more out of the marketing dollars you've already spent. The first click to get them there is usually the most expensive one, not always, but a lot of times it is. And the remarketing part of it is usually a lot less expensive. Conversion rate is usually pretty good. And if nothing else, if they already booked with you, they see your ad, they could share with other people. So it's almost a no lose proposition. So your marketing campaigns can be great for just kind of cleaning up after the traffic you already lost because they didn't book with you the first time. Another one would be past customer or even past lead email campaigns. So this could be something where you're reminding customers. So I'm from Florida. There's a lot of people that come to Florida every year. It's just their thing. When I used to work in hotels on the beach in Deerfield, I'd see the same people come year after year after year. I was just a kid, but I got to know them because they came every single year with their family. So this is a normal thing in that market, but also in other markets. People just go to the same place over and over again, or they go with, they come with different groups, like their family and sometimes with friends, that sort of a thing. If that's not you, there may be other ways to go about this, but having emails that go out to past customers is a great idea. So let's say they come every summer. They were here in July, just maybe send them out at least one email, but probably a series of emails a few months before that. Because if they're going to be traveling, they're going to be making plans, hit them up a little bit early so they're thinking about you before they get there, or they're booking before they get there, preferably. So that's one way to go. If they're not customers, they're just leads, again, same deal. There's no reason not to reach out. Maybe they did a contact form on your website at some point, or they submitted for a quote for a particular activity or tour. Keep them in the loop. And also, I think nurturing them, like having a nurture sequence for either holidays or seasonal stuff or whatever, would be a really nice thing just to keep in front of them throughout the year, not just when you want them to book. It kind of builds a good, good feeling for your brand with them, that you're staying in touch with them, not just for money, but also for just like, seasons. People tend to appreciate that to some degree. I would say you want to keep it simple. It's very easy to go all crazy and have a million segments to your email list and doing all this, and that's great, nothing wrong with that. But if you're just going to get started with this, just keep it simple. Just have one list for all your customers or leads. Keep it real simple with holiday or seasonal emails. Put an automation together where you can look up the booking date of the customer and send emails out to them, like I said, maybe 9 months after they last booked. Again, conversion assist, we're working on having a process for that already built in for everybody. If they booked in the last 60, 90 days, we can pull them out of that list so they're not seeing that after they've already booked with you, that sort of a thing. But again, have them come back to try different tours, kind of like our cross-sell thing. If you think, well, they already did this, there's not much else to do, well, then see if there's something else that you could have for them to do, or again, have a partner that you can refer them to, or just invite them back for the same thing. What's the worst that could happen? If anything, they might just share images of their trip with you, or leave reviews, or refer others. So you can get creative with the messaging, but just let it be something where you're giving people the opportunity, remind them to come back to visit you, and hopefully make that revenue, which costs almost nothing except for the cost of sending an email, which again is almost nothing, and writing it. So really quick, easy way to go. SMS and Messenger Chats has more to do with your website. Basically, the idea and the goal is to make it easy for customers to reach you. A lot of people do not want to wait on hold on your phone. They don't want to go in through your IVR. They don't want to do that. They just want a quick answer to a question. Yes, it's probably on your website and it's very easy to find if they spent the time, but they don't want to spend the time. They're usually on vacation. So make it easier for them. I say SMS or Messenger, it doesn't really matter. The point of it is it's something that people will use that's convenient both for them and for you. So I like SMS. There's obviously a bit of a cost involved compared to a messenger chat. But with SMS, you have a good phone number for that person for pretty much forever. And Messenger, if you use like a Facebook Messenger, there's rules with when you can send them messages and that sort of thing. So again, SMS is a little bit better because you don't have to worry about the 24-hour rule of when you can message somebody if they've interacted with you and all that stuff. So you can use an SMS chat widget like ours, Conversion Assist. There's Podium, there's Swell, there's a few others if you want. But basically just makes it convenient for them to reach out to you. And also in your case, it might be easier for you to reach out to them, because if people are calling you constantly, you can only talk to one person at one time. If they're doing chat conversations, you can partially automate a greeting, partially automate some of the FAQs, or at least templatize them, and you can handle multiple people at a time. So whether you're doing that or your staff's doing that, it makes it a lot more convenient sometimes, both for the customer and for you, and also more cost effective if you don't have to pay people to talk to as many people at a time. And it also helps during those peak hours when you're getting a lot of contacts coming in. Kind of helps you, where you can do multiple things and a little bit of multi-conversation activity versus just talking to one person on the phone at a time, putting them on hold, trying to get to the next one. They hung up, now you just lost revenue, all that fun stuff. Or hiring another person to handle it, which you may only need them for a few hours of the day during the peak busy time. So it could be a good way to increase conversions, both in terms of convenience and also not losing customers because you can't get to them fast enough, right? You've already paid for them to get there. Losing them is just really a sad thing. Lastly, we have increasing or optimizing your website UX. So this is something you should probably do regularly, especially if you change your website regularly. I say at least before every season or a couple times a year, depending on how often you change things. But check out your website. Go to it on your phone. There are some tools you can use, like emulators, to see what it would look like on a phone. But you could just use your phone. What you want to do is just make sure, like, your pages, not just your home page, but your tour pages, the page people actually get to, flow the way you want them to. You don't have images that are cut off halfway. A lot of times what happens is on desktop, things look one way. On mobile, they're like in different order of things. So you want things to flow in a logical way, which means you kind of want to get the information about what the tour is at the top. You want to have a booking button, maybe see some reviews, definitely have images, probably FAQs, that sort of thing, in an order that makes sense for a customer to flow, right? So you'll know probably what that is. If you don't, you can look at some of the big boys, some of the OTAs, see how they do it to get an idea of the order of information. Think of like an Amazon page, right? There's a certain order they give you things. And just make sure that the page works well, it loads well, all the buttons work, there's nothing weird. Almost every time we find a client issue on their website, it's been there for a long time, but they just didn't bother to check. So just make sure that you just take a little bit of time to check it out. There's another thing you can use, a free tool called Microsoft Clarity, which is basically does screen recording, session recording. It blurs out like sensitive information, but you can use that and you actually literally see what the customer saw on their phone or their desktop on your website. If you've got a lot of like CSS or styling, sometimes that doesn't come through perfectly, but for the most part, it'll show you if there's like dead clicks that are happening. You can generate heat maps for people how far they scroll or where they click. So it's really helpful to kind of look at that information over time and increase your conversion rate. If you go from, let's say, a 3% conversion rate to a 4% conversion rate, you basically increase your conversions by 25%. I mean, imagine if you can increase revenue by 25% by spending a little bit of time doing some of this stuff. Now, there's no guarantee you're going to do that. It's just basically a big increase. Actually, it's by 33%, but you get the idea. So spending a little bit of time on this, making sure things flow well, making it simpler is always a benefit, faster, easier, and just making sure you know how things show up. You might also notice that, hey, how come we don't show people this information? I keep getting calls about this. Well, maybe this is why. We can add that to the page. So things like that can be super helpful. And even if you don't increase your conversion rate a lot, if you save time on the FAQs, people calling in for information, that could also be just as valuable in savings of time and effort. So anyway, these are some ideas to help you get more out of your existing traffic, more existing customers. Super simple. If you ever want to go deep on any of these, just leave a comment below. We can try to go deeper on some of this stuff, but nothing you guys can't do on your own or get some help with if you want, but definitely easy, low-hanging fruit. Stop looking to spend more money if you don't have to and just kind of optimize what you have. And for 2023, I think that's probably going to be a good idea for most operators. So just hopefully these are good ideas. They're definitely not exhaustive. It's just a few that I had off the top of my head that I want to share with you guys. So thanks for watching. Take care. God bless.